Welcome, friends, to Crazy Women Country, where women's voices matter. We bring you the greatest female voices in the music industry, from the artists, songwriters, and producers, to managers and executives, and all the women who make the music industry what it is today. Thank you for joining us.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Crazy Women Country. I'm Paula, and today we have Ruby Shay with us. How are you doing?
I'm really, really well, thank you.
Good. So tell us, the most important question. Who is Ruby Shay?
Hi, I'm the problem, it's me. No, I live in Australia. I mean, I'm up on the Central Coast of New South Wales, where we're kind of nestled really beautifully between mountains and the sea, which is lovely. But I grew up down on the South Coast and in Bega, so I'm a bit of a kind of coast first country girl at heart, which I absolutely love. I did a brief stint on a dairy farm, so I would wake up, look out the window to 150 cows mooing at me at 6 a.m., which was
Nice.
it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun having to get up and look after all the animals. However, I'm not a morning person, so that was not as fun. But, it is what it is. I've sung my whole life. My mum used to tell me that I sang before I spoke, which I mean, obviously is not entirely correct because you need to know the words in order to sing them. But I do remember when I was really young, I would just kind of sing at people. I'd have a song in my head or something, and I would just be singing at them, and they'd be talking to me, and I would be singing at them. And show and tell at school, I would take in a cassette tape or a CD of someone, and I would do a performance, a show and tell, instead of kind of taking in a physical item to show people, which I don't think many of my teachers really loved, but they definitely indulged me. I would make my friends do dances, and we would put on these shows for friends and family. So it was that was a lot of fun. But I really didn't start kind of getting into really taking music seriously until I was an adult. I was in my late teens, early 20s when I taught myself guitar and started writing songs, and I used it to start with just as a bit of a form of therapy. So I grew up a lot of my life in out of home care, so I wasn't really able to be with my family, and we moved around a lot, and placements changed a lot, and it's songwriting and singing really kind of started for me being something that was consistent, and it was something that was solid. And other artists was fabulous. Before I started writing, I would love singing and performing, and I think it was one that made me feel a whole lot less alone when people were singing about things that I could relate to. But it also gave me this opportunity to pretend to be someone else for a little while. And that kind of helped me learn to imagine the life that I wanted. And having that picture in my brain of what I wanted, obviously helped me kind of formulate a plan to be able to get there, which was really great. I don't know what I would have done without having music as such a strong influence, something that's always resonated with me.
That's awesome. I must admit, I am shocked by how popular country music is in Australia. I didn't realise there's such a huge amount of artists over there, and everything else. And of course, you've just done the Tamworth Country Music Festival, haven't you? You have to tell me all about that. I know there's quite a few artists that were there that we've got coming on the show, so I'd love to know more about that.
It was incredible. I have never been before. I'd always wanted to go, but life happens and it's difficult. It's a whole 10 days, and you have jobs and family and whatever. But I think just before COVID, I know we're not, the dreaded world ending. But just before that, I kind of had gone, I'm going this year, and then it got cancelled a couple of years in a row because of COVID, and it flooded, and there's a whole bunch of other things. So, but last year I had said to my husband, 2024, we're going. Hell or high water, we are going. So we were already going to go and attend. And then it was just amazing that my first ever Tamworth, I got to go and perform. And it wasn't just busking. I did a busking spot, but I was with the Tamworth Songwriters Association. So played a lot of gigs through their kind of songwriting showcases, which was beautiful. It's so lovely to be in this environment that is fully encouraging wholeheartedly original music.
Yeah.
Really loved that. But we also, I played at the Golden Guitar Showcase, which is at the big Golden Guitar statue right as you come into
Well,
Tamworth. I played the Fan Zone stage, which, I have friends that have been going up and doing the hard yards for a really long time and have still not kind of made an invitation onto that stage. So for that to be available to my band and I was just incredible, like absolutely blown away by the opportunities that we were presented while we were up there. I did a song with Amber Lawrence, which was also incredible. I opened for Bonnie Kellett and Courtney Kyle's Fierce and Fearless show that they did up there. So we just had these beautiful, amazing opportunities. And we just took everything with both hands and went, well, we're up here. It's our first year, but let's do this. Yeah, we've been waiting so long. Let's just give it a go and give it absolutely everything we have, which we did. It was very hot. Next year, I think I will have air conditioning installed in my caravan. We camped with my bandmates, my sister, my brother-in-law, my 3 kids, and the dog. We were all there camping. We were right on Peel River, so we did do some river diving and near the community, the council pool. So we got asked a couple of interviews in the tail end of Tamworth, as my dog, and the tail end of Tamworth, where are we going to go? And we were like, well, we've pretty much been determining where we're going to go by how far away it is from the pool. So
yeah.
But yeah, it was. We met some really, really great people. They performed. I think in the end it was 13 shows in 10 days. So it was,
wow.
Yeah, not
that's
definitely
impressive.
Yeah, I did the red carpet for the Golden Guitar Awards. And that was actually insane. I had a radio interview at 4:30 in like the town, and then had to go back out to camp to get ready for the Golden Guitars, to go walk the red carpet at 5:15. Then I had to go back to Riverside stage for a 6:15 show, and then back to the Golden Guitars at 7:30.
Oh my God, you must be shattered. You'd be like, where am I going?
100%. I would not have been able to do it without like my husband, my friends that came up, my sister and brother-in-law. Everyone just taxied, so we didn't have to find parking or anything. We had the band in one car and the cavalry in the other, and they would just drop. We'd just drop and run, and then they'd go and get the car before we were due to finish and come back and pick us up. So we were so lucky to have this little entourage with us.
Your first step to stardom. I love it. That sounds like fun.
It was very, very, very rock star life. Yeah. And then I'd go back to my stinking hot caravan and have a cold shower before I went to bed. This very, very strange kind of juxtaposition of my two lives, kind of amalgamating. But it was a lot of fun. I can't wait for next year.
Sounds like fun. I must have. And 10 days. That's awesome. Most of the festivals that I know are like 3 or 4 days or whatever. We have C2C, which is a huge festival in the UK, but that's only 3 days. That's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So yeah, 10 days. That's 10 days of country music. Like, wow.
It's fabulous, and you lose track of what day it is because it starts on a Friday and then ends the following Sunday. So you have 2 weekends in there if you're up there for the whole thing. But we got to like a Wednesday, and we went and caught a show, and had a couple of drinks afterwards, and we were like, oh, it doesn't matter. It's Saturday night. We're like, no, wait, it's Tuesday or Wednesday.
Where did you get? I've forgotten.
Yeah, still midweek, but it doesn't feel like that. There's just music everywhere. It is like a weekend, the whole 10 days. It's amazing.
Wow, that is awesome. We need to get there. That's for sure.
That would be so good.
That would be cool. Definitely. So tell me about your new single, When They Call Me, which is absolutely amazing. You sound fantastic in it. So tell us more about that song.
Thank you so much. This is my favorite song that I have written so far. I love it so much. I love everything about it. And I originally wasn't going to release it as a single because it's a bit slower, and the team I work with are kind of like, upbeat songs are really good, and they absolutely are. But I also am very lucky that when I'd said to them, well, I really want this one out there, and I went, okay, well, it's your art, it's your thing, we'll just support you in whatever decision you make. And I'm really, really glad that I did, because it's been performing really well, and I've had so many people reach out to me with what it's meant for them and what they've taken from it, and that's exactly why I wrote it. That's exactly why I wanted it out there. That's what I want all of my music to do. So that's absolutely incredible. But I that's what I want for people. I want them to take what they need to, but I actually wrote it myself about my time growing up in and out of foster care. So it's written from the perspective of all these things that people constantly tell you have to change in order to fit in or to be accepted or to be loved. Or that, you know, sometimes you make that narrative up in your own mind, but you know, you're too much of this, you're not enough of this, you need to dress a particular way, you need to act a particular way, you just need to be good. And everybody's determination of what good is different. So it can be really confusing to be like, just be normal, be good, but what does that really look like? And I spent so much of my life, like I'm closer to 40 than I am to 20. And I spent a lot of my life, I guess, kind of being defined by my experiences. And I've done a lot of work to have a different life than what I think I would have been given if I didn't put the work in. But it still was I was very heavily triggered. I hate that word now because it's such a thing, you know, in a derogative way now. But that is the truth. Like something would happen, or there'd be a smell or a memory or a part of a memory, because that's what trauma does. It disconnects the way that you think about things. That something would happen, and it didn't matter how much work I did, how much therapy I did, how much, you know, self-care I did. When something popped up for me, I was back into the moment where it really had a lot of control. And about 3 years ago, I reconnected with a childhood friend. So she's the only only person I have in my life that had ever met my dad. So, you know, we had this kind of huge moment when we were in our really early teens, and we both then moved away, completely lost contact, and then ended up randomly working at the same place 3 years ago. So, you know, 20 years later, we found each other. And she was over at my house and we were having a couple of wines and having a chat, and we were talking about just what was going on for us back then and how far we've come, and kind of having a bit of a reflective chat. And it was in that moment with her that I realized that I'd been going about things the wrong way for myself. And I think a lot of people do this. There's this notion and this narrative of, will you get over it? Why can't you just get over it? You should be over it by now. And I think that's entirely the wrong way to go about it. I think there's power and strength in acknowledging that what is coming, and you can't control triggers, you can't control moments, you can't control other people not knowing what you've been through and tailoring their behavior accordingly. You can't expect that. So these things are always going to pop up for you. Where the power is learning how to not give it control over you anymore. And then it, you know, so it's gonna come, but what it means for you, that's the difference, and that's the strength. So that was such a huge turning point for me in my personal life, in the way I thought about myself, in confidence to release music and everything. Was realizing that, like, it's okay that stuff's going to come. It's going to call me. I'm going to come when they call. That's what that line is. But then it's, you know, it's about whether or not it defines me. So in When They Call Me specifically, I kind of wrote it in the way where I go through all of these things, and the verses are about constantly feeling like you need to reinvent yourself to be loved, was my big thing, to be wanted, to be accepted. And then in the bridge, I kind of go on to say, you know, I'll make them see you, I'll make them speak your name. And that is the understanding that now that I know what I know, I really strongly feel that it's my responsibility. I have to now be the person who speaks about it, who advocates, who tells people, look, maybe you're going about it the wrong way. Maybe you're not ready yet, but there can be another side, and you'll get there. You will get there, and you'll be okay. So that's really what the song is about for me. It was such a healing song for me to write. And now that it is out in the universe, and I'm so overwhelmed by messages that I'm getting from people that are going, you know, this is what your song meant to me, and I feel hopeful, or, you know, you made me realize I'm not alone. And for something that's come out of my experience and then come out of my brain into this song, is really just, I actually can't even explain how much it means to me that is what's happening with this song.
It's awesome. It is absolutely amazing. And I must admit, when I first listened to it, I got that feeling that it is, you know, someone who's trying to be someone they're not. And I mean, we all do that. We all do that as children. We all do it as adults. But when you're being dictated to it, this is the only way you can live, makes it even harder. So, and I understand that, people say get over things. I've had people say that to me, when I lost my mum and my grandmother, they're like, it's been 6 months, get over it. I'm like, if you've never been there, you don't know how this feels. You don't know the grief and the pain that you go through. And it's not something you just move on from. It's like, oh, it happens, that's it, it's done.
Yeah.
And I think people don't see it that way.
No, they don't. And particularly when it comes to, I guess, specifically what you mentioned, like I've lost my mum 10 years ago, this January just passed.
Mm.
And I remember having a conversation with a friend who's now an acquaintance, was a friend at the
Mm.
time. And she said a really similar thing. She was like, oh, you'll just get over it. Like people lose people all the time. Then
Yeah.
a couple of years ago, she lost her mother. And then she came to me and she was like, I didn't get it. And I get it now. And there's these irreplaceable people in your life. Like you only get one mum, you only get one dad, you
Yeah.
only get, well, maybe two grandparents, but there are people that are completely irreplaceable and you don't
Yeah.
understand that loss until you understand that
Until
loss.
you actually lose them. Yeah.
That's right. And I
Yeah.
think trauma across the board is the same. You can try your best to understand, you can be really empathetic and understanding, but you always need to be more empathetic and understanding, I think, than anyone
Yeah.
can be naturally without actively thinking about it. You never know what
Yeah.
someone's going through, and trivializing what you think to be something small because you think it's something small, but it's something big to them
Yeah.
it's really
Mm.
not helpful. I don't
No,
feel so.
no. I mean,
Be a
everybody,
little bit more understanding.
yeah, everybody deals with their trauma differently. And, I've put out posts obviously with what I'm going through saying that it doesn't matter if it's a big thing or a small thing. It's different to everybody's life. We'll deal with these things differently, and what may seem insignificant to someone else can be huge to that person. So we
Absolutely.
should never judge. Never judge
Absolutely.
anybody by what they're going through or anything like that, because most of us haven't been there. We haven't been through that, or we haven't done that, or we haven't felt that. So until you've gone through it, you don't understand the experience. So it's like what you've been through. I can't sympathize with you because I've never done it. I've never been in that situation. But you know, I can, as I said, empathize with you and and talk about it. But I can't. It's difficult to feel what you feel when you've never been there. So
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
definitely, definitely. But it's an awesome film, absolutely. And you got that sense through the whole song. So yeah, absolutely amazing. Okay, so tell us, who are some of your sheroes? Some of the women you look up to?
Oh, this is very difficult. There are so many. Um, my my sister, well, she's not really my sister. She's my best friend. We've been friends for 25 years. We've been best friends for 25 years. Her parents like fostered me for a little while. We lost her mum last year, but she is one of the best people I have ever known in my entire life. She was up at Tamworth with me. So I'm really,
Awesome.
really lucky to have her. But she's she's my go-to for everything. As far as I guess kind of people that other people would know, Leanne Rhymes is the reason I started singing. I
She's awesome.
absolutely I adore her. My mum took me to a concert that she and Keith Urban did at Wynn Entertainment Centre down in Wollongong, and I was standing right up the very front singing at her because that's what I've done since I was really young. Um, Singing at her, she touched my hand, and I was hysterical. Security had to come and check on me because they thought that like something was wrong, and I was like, no, no, she just touched me. She just touched me. It was amazing, but I think she's just such an amazing vocalist. I love that, particularly kind of, when she was late teens, early 20s, really just did what she felt was right and got a bit vocal. And I just absolutely love that. I love Sara Bareilles. I think that her songwriting is so real and raw and honest, and her voice is just incredible. She's just got such an amazing sense of pitch and when light and shade and when to pull back and when not to, and can just do
Mm.
everything. She's absolutely amazing. And I've always really, really admired Kathy Freeman. I'm an Aboriginal woman. I love seeing strong Aboriginal women kicking goals. So from a very young age, Kathy Freeman was really the only
She's
one that
awesome.
was
Yeah,
out and proud and
yeah,
doing good, doing these great things, despite the challenges that she had in her life. So she's always been a pretty static woman for me. And I love that strength that I just love that strength that comes from people that have faced adversity and go, you know what? I'm just going to do what I need to do, and it doesn't matter what you do. You're not going to break me. Every little thing actually is inspiration to do better, and I just love that.
She was an amazing athlete, I loved watching her when I was younger. So yeah, absolutely fantastic. Okay, so are you ready for our 13 crazy questions?
Yes, I'm actually so excited for this. This is going to be a lot of fun.
These are great fun. I love this. Okay, so first question. We'll start nice and easy. What's your favourite type of transport?
Skateboard.
That's awesome. That's something different. I love it. A skateboard.
I'm not very good at it, but I like it.
You like it? Okay. If you're having a bad day, what is your feel-good TV show or film that you go to?
Oh, okay. That is actually very difficult. I'm not a TV person. Probably because I have 3 kids that range from teenage to toddler, so I don't really get the opportunity to watch anything. I typically am a more of a music girly, but I think it changes. It changes. At the moment, it's Rain, like REGN, which is about kind of Queen Mary of Scots. You know, it's like a period drama, except it's not like all the fashion's wrong, but I actually really, really kind of enjoy that. So when it's a bad day, I want something that I can kind of get a bit lost in, that I don't have to think too much in, and it generally is a series that does change.
That's pretty cool. I love that. Okay. If I came to you and said I've got a dead body, do you know a good place to hide it?
Absolutely. I love camping. I know all the bush spots. I'm not going to give away my secrets on a Zoom meeting that's going to go, out to the public. But
I've got someone to come to. I love that. I'll be on the phone. What do I do with this body? That'll be funny. Okay, if you could write with anyone, alive or dead, who would it be?
Sara Bareilles. Hands down. She's such a clever lyricist. She's beautiful. Love her.
Okay. Sara, if you're listening to this, look her up.
Please.
We'll make sure we tag her in this and see what happens.
Oh, yes. She's incredible. I would probably be hysterical like I was when Leanne Rhymes touched my hand. So I'll try to keep it together, Sara, I promise.
I promise. Have you washed that hand since?
Well, yeah. COVID, we've been through COVID since then, but it was a long time coming.
Sucks. Okay, if your life was a reality show, what would it be called?
The first word that came into my mind is probably not something that I should say. We'd need to bleep it out, but it would be. I need to think of another word. Probably Welcome to the Madhouse.
Welcome to the. Yeah. I love that. Welcome to the Madhouse. Oh, that's cool. Okay, which artist would you love to do a duet with?
Oh, Sara Bareilles. I think Leanne Rhymes would be either of those 2 women I would take. But Leanne Rhymes has been a big inspiration since I was a kid. So that would just be the most incredible thing to sing with her.
Okay. If she's watching, you need to hook you up as well.
Yeah, you touched my hand in Wollongong. And I also stood in line for 4 hours at Toowoomba when I was very small to get you to sign a poster.
Oh, wow. That's dedication. 4 hours, that is definitely dedication.
My mum was stunned. She was not happy.
She's like, I'm not staying here anymore, I can imagine. Good for you. Well done, Mum. Okay. No, I've done that one. If you owned a bar, what would you call it?
We're doing all these things with words I can't say. What are you doing to me?
Sorry.
I think I would call it Just Have Another One.
That's a good name. I tell you, people come up with these great names on the fly. I was like, I have to sit there and really think about something really cool. Okay. what scares you the most? And I don't mean stadium music. I mean, apart from that sort of thing. What
Um,
scares you the most?
I'm not going to go deep. I am absolutely terrified of Christmas beetles.
Of what?
Christmas
Christmas
beetles.
beetles.
Yeah, I don't know if you get them. They're like about this big. They're
Okay.
shiny. They're like a cross between like a normal looking bug and a cockroach.
Oh,
But
okay.
they fly and they're around when it's really hot, and you like walk outside and they like the light and they smash you in the face.
Oh,
And they're like
nice.
sticky legs and they get stuck in your hair. No,
Oh,
no,
okay. Yeah,
no.
they give me the
Cockroaches are a
heebie-jeebies
close
already.
second. No, no. Spiders, fine. Snakes, fine. Christmas beetles, cockroaches.
Oh, I can't stand snakes. We get snakes here, but they're not huge. They're little ones, but they still give me the heebie-jeebies. Still give me the heebie-jeebies. They freak me out. Okay. Um, what would be your plan for a zombie apocalypse?
Oh, I would die.
That's not a good start.
Yeah.
I
No,
would
no,
die.
it's not. My sister-in-law is a very, very good zombie apocalypse planner. She has
Okay.
a whole plan, like has canned food, like she's great. I buy only what I need in the groceries. I meal plan and I buy only what I need. I'm never on top of my washing. So I get distracted really easily. So I would be running away and then I would see something shiny and be like, oh, and bitten, gone, done. I'm a zombie. Um,
I love that. I love that. So you need to have somebody with you to keep you going, or else you'll be dead.
in the event of a zombie apocalypse, I'm going to my sister-in-law's house and just doing whatever she tells me. Yeah.
Okay, you follow her. Okay, what is your guilty food pleasure?
Oh God, I have no discipline when it comes to food, but I will sit down and eat an entire packet of caramel crown biscuits.
Okay.
They are incredible. They're like a I think it's like a shortbread biscuit, and then they have a layer of caramel, and then they're entirely covered in chocolate. I'm pretty sure that half of one is the recommended daily sugar and kind of chocolatey intake. But if I open the
And
packet,
you've eaten 2,000 calories just in the packet, and that's it.
100%. I have no discipline. You cannot stop me when it comes to those biscuits. I have
Yeah, but
all of them.
there's certain things that's really hard. You can't just have like one or two off. It just sort of turns into three, four, five, and boy, the packet's gone. And it's like,
I have the
doing it
best of
again.
intentions. I have two, and I'm like, that's all I'll have. Put it back in the cupboard, or put it in the fridge because it's very hot. I'll put it in the fridge, and then literally 10 minutes later, I'm like,
Have one more.
oh, just got to get hot, yeah. And then all the packet's gone, and then I cry. So.
Yeah, yeah. I know the same thing. It's really hard. While it's not open, it's like you've got that willpower. But as soon as it's open, it's like that's it.
There.
You've got to eat it.
It's there,
It's going to go off.
there for the taking.
Totally.
With no resistance.
No, I'm totally with you there. Okay. What is the weirdest thing in your fridge?
Oh, I recently cleaned it out because we went to Tamworth for 10 days. So, and my daughter left our freezer open. So that was
Yeah, so
fun.
defrosted everywhere.
Yeah, there was just stuff everywhere. Um, I actually don't know. I think maybe at the moment it's the fact that I have three, four, five small containers of mustard, like American mustard containers,
Mm.
squeezy ones, but only one of them is actually mustard.
What's in the other three? Is it a surprise? You just
Uh,
squeeze it and see what comes out.
that's actually yes, it is a complete lucky, but it's various hot sauces. So it actually we really need to label them. But I haven't. So when the kids have hot dogs, it's a lucky dip as to whether or not they're getting, you know, the
Like or something I don't
super,
like,
super
like
hot
it's gonna
chili
blow the
sauce.
brain.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So they generally will like shake it up and then just kind of squeeze a little bit onto the breadboard to see whether
Just see.
it is actually mustard or not. But I mean, it's not a weird item to have in my fridge, but it is a weird thing that I need to explain to people when they go to get
It's
something out.
it's it's a new game. You know, a new game. See
It's
what you
roulette.
get. It's really
Mustard container roulette.
mustard roulette. I love it. Oh, that's so funny. Okay, hang on. I've got the same question twice now. That's really clever, isn't it? Okay, if you could visit anywhere in the world, where would it be?
Oh, I okay. So there is, I actually don't know exactly where it is, but I figure if I had the power to visit absolutely anywhere, then I would have done research and found it. But when my grandparents were traveling when they were really young, well, they got married, they're in their like late teens, early 20s, they went to a place in Italy and got a coin bracelet made. Um,
Okay.
I've found it once before because the name is on the coins, but I would want to go there, where that coin bracelet was made that my grandmother gave to me.
Perfect. That sounds awesome, actually. That sounds awesome. And Italy is amazing. Italy is amazing. I've been to Italy. Actually, when I went to Italy, we had the worst rainstorm when we were camping. We had to sit on the bed because the water was running around tents like this. I was like, seriously?
My, one of my best friends and I went to Paris 10 years ago, and we went in winter. So we went in our January, and it was like the first winter in years that it had like sleeted or like snowed a bit when we were there. It was freezing, but we did have the best time. It was great. There was no lines anyway because it was so cold.
I love it. Okay. Um, three things you would never leave the house with.
With or
Yeah.
without? With
What three things would you leave the house with? You would never leave behind.
never leave behind. Is this like day to day, or is this like if I was leaving the house and not coming back, what would I make sure I took with me?
Day to
Anything
day.
day to day. Okay. Um, my car keys, very practical.
Yep.
Um, deodorant
Okay, yep.
and lipstick.
And awesome. So
Yeah.
you've got your car to get away with, and you've got everything else just to, make sure you're clean and tidy. What can you ask for?
Well, you never know. You never know. You never know what's going to happen. Event of a zombie apocalypse, I want to
Zombie
look nice
apocalypse.
and smell good. So, the only things I have with me, zombies coming in like I've got a lipstick. Look out!
I love it. The deodorant might scare them off, though. You don't know, do you? You
They
still
might
spray
spray
them
them in the
with it.
face. Yep,
There you go. Sorted. See,
doubles
sorted.
as pepper spray.
I love it. I love it. Okay, that's your 13 crazy questions, but they're fun.
Oh,
I love
great.
them. They're the best. You survived them really well, actually. You did really, really well. I've seen some people think so deeply about it,
I
which is so
was
cool.
trying to kind of say the first thing that came into my brain, which was really good. But yeah,
It's fun.
the
It's
TV
fun.
show one really threw me. I didn't realize I really couldn't name anything for that one. That's
I must admit, I've noticed that with a lot of artists. Obviously, their music is their life, so obviously they listen to a lot more music than they watch TV. But it's always fun
yeah,
to see what if they do watch anything.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, it's good fun. So tell us, what does 2024 hold for you?
Well, this year is the year of head down, butt up. For the band and
I
I,
love that.
we it's really we had such a great Tamworth. We've had some really good like feedback from a lot of kind of industry professionals. I think 2025 will be a big festival year for us. Obviously, they book all of their shows kind of 6 to 8 months in advance, but now we're really on a radar after Tamworth, which is so incredible to say out loud. As something that's actually happening in actuality is incredible. But so this year for us is really about the hard work. It's really, taking as many shows as we can, doing as many gigs as we can, just getting even kind of tighter all together. I was in the studio last night, laying the last vocals for our next single. So we have another 3 singles planned between now and the end of the year. And a 9 to 11, probably going to be 11-track album, which we are planning to launch at Tamworth Country Music Festival next year. So that will be kind of out in January. We also have most of our intended second album written now as well. So we will start at the tail half of the year. We'll start prepping the singles we're going to release for that, and then kind of keep working through and just keep writing and keep taking whatever opportunities are available to us with both hands, and really kind of getting into it. We're none of us are overly young, myself or my band members, and we've waited a really long time to be in a position where we're even able to, hold opportunities like this. So we're really in it. We're really motivated, and we know that this year is going to be a lot of hard work to, help kind of 2025 and beyond be a little bit more fun. Still a lot of hard work, but maybe a little bit more fun. But
Awesome. I have to ask though, where did you get the name for the band, the Red Horse?
That's actually funny. The guy, our producer and engineer at the studio last night, asked us the same question. So I work in my band. Sean Wilson and Michael Blue Dalton, Grant Shanahan and Dave Roberts used to do a band called Blue and the Doctor. And when we first kind of got together, and Sean approached me about recording some songs that he's written. One of those is going to be our next single, one that he's written. And he approached me about doing it. And we've known each other for a really long time. We met at open mics, 10 years ago through the Australian Songwriters Association, and have just really loved each other's music since then. But we were talking about what we were going to do. And we were thinking, maybe we should just amalgamate our existing identities and we'll do like Ruby, Blue and the Doctor. And we were like, yeah, cool, that would be all right. But then we kind of changed the sound a little bit, and we wrote some songs together that didn't really fit in what I was doing previously or what they were doing previously. So we then went through a bunch of different names. We were like, why don't we just be Ruby, like just Ruby? And then we did a couple of gigs that way at some local places here on the Central Coast. And then I had a look on Spotify, and I was like, oh no, there's like, we'll get lost. Like, you can't, we need
you'll disappear into this blurb of,
there's like Ruby someone's, or there's, so that was a bit much. And then the boys, Sean's daughter Clara, she loves horses, and my daughter Mallory loves horses, so we were like, maybe we could do something with that. And we came up with like Ruby and the Red Horse, which we loved, and then thought about it again and went, we probably should use my name and the band and just kind of amalgamate the two. Doing that was a bit of more of a kind of business-based decision, because I already had a Spotify profile and I already had like a little bit of a following as Ruby Shay. So we went, let's do it that way. And then it also opens up our possibilities that the band can do something on their own, I can do something on mine, we can continue to do things together, and it opens up a bit of versatility for us, which we thought was really the best way to talk about it. Again, we've waited a while for this, so we want to make sure we're doing it in the best way possible. So it really was that the red part just came from mixing it in with the Ruby. And we've got this little logo. All the boys had the Red Horse shirts made that they wore while we were up in Tamworth, which was really cool. So we'll have some merch in the tail half of this year as well for both the band and me and us together. So that'll be really cool.
It's just cool.
But yeah, we tried on a bunch of different things just to see what would fit, and it was Ruby Shay and a Red Horse that stuck.
Awesome. I love it. It's such a great name, I must admit. But it's different, do you know what I mean? So absolutely love it. That's nice.
I think I've suggested like Ruby Shay and the geriatric ponies or something, but they didn't like that.
Whoops. Are you fixing something now?
Maybe not. You're not that old. I was just being a bit cheeky.
Why not? It's quite funny though. That is quite funny. I do love that though. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. This has been fun. Absolutely great fun.
It's been absolutely fun. Thanks so much for having me.
Oh, no worries. You're welcome back anytime. And if you've got any new music, make sure you send it over to us, and obviously we'll promote it to our platforms and everything else. But this has been a load of fun. So thank you everybody for joining us, and regarding Ruby will be in the link below, and we'll see you soon. Adios.
If you enjoyed today's episode of Crazy Women Country, don't forget to give us a thumbs up. Be sure to click the subscribe button for new interviews weekly. And thank you, friends, for joining us today on Crazy Women Country, where women's voices matter.